kind of out of spite, I was like, I'm gonna go fucking tattoo and I'm gonna learn how to do it right and well, and I'm gonna be fucking good at it. My name is London Reese, and I work at Vatican Studios in Orange County, California. And today we are working on a Bill the Butcher from the Gangs of New York, one of our mutual favorite movies. I started tattooing right after high school. I went to college, starting to study fine art and English. With some recommendations from friends, some influence, I started learning how to tattoo on my own. Unfortunately, got really frustrated with it. I was in school studying art and I was doing well with that. And tattooing doesn't come naturally like most mediums of art do for artists. So I kind of was like, not into this anymore. Kind of out of spite, I was like, I'm gonna go fucking tattoo and I'm gonna learn how to do it right and well, and I'm gonna be fucking good at it. So I started up again, went and got a job at a shop and just learning from everybody around me, and all my friends started going to me, which was really cool. I just wanted to be the guy who tattooed my close friends. That's really where it kind of started. And I hated that I wasn't good at it, you know? I hated that it didn't come naturally. It's just a weird thing about tattooing, and so I was just super motivated to get good at it, and finally I just started working my ass off. Yeah, and I just haven't looked back since. Yeah, you know, my family's always been supportive of pursuing art. I was always artistic as a kid, and my parents always supported that. They were always the first ones to buy me crayons and markers and paper, and they always kind of knew I was going to be some sort of an artist because I showed some skill there young. My mom was always like, man, you should be an architect. You should be like a successful artist, you know? So when I was in school and like kind of trying to become a tattooer and I was working at a shop, they didn't not support me, but I think they thought it was a phase, you know? Just like another phase you had like a junior high or high school or something. Once it became serious and like I didn't have to have a job anymore, I was just tattooing and making an income, and I was done with school. I think they slowly started to realize, oh, this is cool. Like, you know, he's still a good dude, and all the taboos that we know of the tattoo culture aren't necessarily like part of who he is. Like, we can support that. And so it was a slow process, but just like when I was a kid, they supported me and still do today. And then finally I even tattooed my dad, which was cool. So I just kept bugging him for like probably 5 fucking years. Like, hey Dad, when are we gonna do that King's tattoo? Or hey, when are we gonna get that Van Halen tattoo on you? And he just always laughed it off. And then finally, I had some published feature somewhere, and like the last question from the interviewer was like, so if there's anybody in the world you'd want to tattoo, who would it be? And I said, my pop. And somehow my dad saw it, and like weeks later he calls me, he's like, hey, heard you want to really actually tattoo me? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, anytime you're ready. And he's like, all right, how about for my birthday? Cool. So I ended up tattooing him finally. Like, it's like a 5-6 year process of trying to talk him into it. But yeah, it was just a little King's tattoo, and oddly enough, they won the cup like 3 months later for the first time in their franchise history. And so now he like brags to all his friends like, I'm the reason they won, man. I got the tattoo and they won because of it. So that's pretty special. I'll always have that one close to me. I would say it started pretty young, my interest in the fine art world. I was fortunate enough to where in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, at the public school I went to, they had a huge art program where they really were encouraging kids making fine art and like studying fine art at a young age. We had kind of had like a parent volunteer that worked at, I think it was the Norton Simon Museum here locally in Southern California. So I was learning about Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh in kindergarten. Like I was learning about like Impressionism and Pointillism and all these cool like movements in art and like Renaissance stuff like in first and second grade. So I was hooked like that early. That early, I love this shit. I want to create it. I want to be all about it. I want to be a part of it. I learned about Renoir. I learned about Da Vinci, of course, the Da Vinci. And those are some of my biggest influences from the get-go. And then I think it was like junior high, I was introduced to the work of Alphonse Mucha and have, like everybody else, loved it since the first time I saw it. It just speaks to me. The piece I'm working on is kind of heavily inspired by some of the pattern work of Alphonse Mucha. And then high school, I started learning about, you know, not the huge names like just Michelangelo and stuff like that, but some of the smaller, not as household friendly names like Caravaggio. A lot of French artists that you've never heard of that are fucking brilliant. Francois Boucher, I love that guy's painting. It always progresses, just like I think my taste in music, my taste in art, my taste in everything else. It's always changing. I'm always looking for new guys. I'm always inspired by new stuff. As far as mediums go, I tend to stick with a lot of pencil. I love to use graphite. I just like to draw a lot, and I always have since I was a little guy. I think that's what it comes from. That's my first love, you know? But I really love painting. As time-consuming and frustrating as it can be, it's very rewarding. It's similar to tattooing. I think that's why a lot of tattooers like to paint. It's because it's similar in a lot of weird ways in the fact that it's so technically tough. But when it's done and done well, there's something really special about it, and it's kind of like you can't deny it. When it's done right, a good oil painting and acrylic is just special, just like a cool tattoo. I've been messing kind of with a lot of mixed media stuff for the last couple of years that I'm really into, just playing with ink and acrylic and like markers and gold leaf and all this fun stuff, just trying to change it up and trying it on new paper, and started drawing and painting on old vintage book pages just because I like the texture of that old paper. It's just worn, and if it's lasted, you know, 100 years, then it's probably gonna last longer than that, you know, if I put some pencil on it. So I just started toying with it, pens and pencils, and it's really interesting. I like the way everything looks on this old printed text. It's really cool. I think I'm gonna start messing with newspaper and even old photographs. I think I'm gonna start playing with that too. Just kind of play with mixed media. I like the way that looks. Man, I had quite a bit of jobs. Like when I was really young, I was a big skater my whole life. And I learned that I could, you know, take crayons or pastels and draw on the grip tape of my boards and just design cool shit. Because everybody would put stickers on the bottom of the boards, but I wanted to decorate the top because that's what you see more when you're writing. So I just started taking crayons and pastels and all sorts of shit, even colored pencils, and creating cool stuff on top of the boards. All the neighborhood kids saw it and all their parents saw it and thought it was really cool. So I started getting paid. I was like 10. They were paying me 20 bucks, 30 bucks to, you know, design something on the top of a board that usually, you know, got ruined pretty quickly. So then we actually learned, like, oh, let's Scotch guard it. So we started spraying like weatherproof Scotch guard on it. My mom would help me out. So that's how I kind of got the idea that I can make money making art. High school started and I just worked at a bunch of retail shops and restaurants, Starbucks for a little while, in like the end of high school or something. That was actually a good job. Oh, pizza delivery boy. Yeah, I did that shit. I love that job though. College, I worked at like a gelato place for like a week. I was working at like Nordstrom for a little while, and then I kind of fell into tattooing. Yeah, like freshman year of college, so 06, 07 is when I started tinkering with it. A lot of fucking jobs. You know, having a kid is true. All the cliche stuff holds up. It's so rad. And when it comes to work, you know, you have this whole new sense of worth and purpose, and it's really, really powerful feeling knowing like, dude, I'm not just doing this for me now. Now it is what was not just a job, it was always just your passion. Now it's a job, and I gotta provide for this rad little kid at home. I was a workaholic before, but now I'm a workaholic in a different way. I want to work really, really hard and get really, really good so I could maintain a nice, stable career for my kid, for her sake, not just for me and my personal artistic fulfillment. You know, we want to be better than we were yesterday. So we're going to do anything we can to be better than yesterday. And now I have a kid, so I want to be better for me, but I want to be way better for her. You want to get better and work more and provide and make more money, but you also want to go home and see them. And this is real talk, like, you know, like it's a tough, like ongoing thing. Like, I want you here more, but I also need you to go work so we can, you know, buy the kid new shoes and shit like that. But I'll tell you what, man, there's nothing better than like coming home and you know you worked a long day and your wife is there and she's like, hey hon, how are you doing? Your baby can't wait to see you. And she just comes up, running up, and she just has a big smile on her face and she just wants you to pick her up. I mean, that is the best part about coming home every day from a long day of good work. That is by far the best thing ever. I know it's all Hallmark card style, but it's true, man. It really is. And you don't get it, like all my buddies that are dads before I was told me, you won't get it until you're there. And they were absolutely right. It's really rad. See having an 11-year-old daughter, healthy and happy and doing well and hopefully making art of some kind. I see myself tattooing, for sure. I see myself involved in the community a little bit more, the art community. I've been trying and working hard to be a part of it more for the last couple of years with some other ventures I've kind of been a part of that I'm really proud of and I want to like pursue more. I honestly hope I'm still tattooing and just getting better and maintaining a good relationship with my wife and kid, you know, because I know from personal experience how crazy consuming this medium of tattooing is. You know, it controls you and it consumes you. So I want to be a good husband, but also a good artist. That was a long story, sorry.
No worries.
Just could have just been like, you got a King's tattoo?
No.
Did you ever deliver pizzas, Josh?
No.
That was a good job, man. Dude, listen to music, drive around, take your sweet time, piss people off. I'm like, I'm getting paid to drive around town listening to metal. This is awesome. You could tell me to like, shut the fuck up if I'm talking too much.
Great.